That is a huge issue. So when I sat down to, I started like traditional animation. We started with beat boards, then I moved to storyboards, and we were about to move to an animatic, as one would. And normally I could cut an animatic in an afternoon, a good animatic in a week. But in this case, well, how do you do an animatic? You needed to compose for three-dimensional space. And so it took me an entire summer to plan that phase out. But it also planned so much more of the development because you needed to know, okay, here's my primary line of action. This is where I want people to look. But people don't have to look there, right? They could be looking in all kinds of different directions. And so, and then you have to match that on cuts, like for each thing, you got to reset it. So I ended up actually, essentially, taking all the storyboard stills into three-dimensional space and started just moving around on cards and created a primary line of action where, okay, this is where the protagonist is, or this is where the important line of action is. I want to move your eye here, 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 here. Then realizing, okay, most audience people created a secondary line of action. If they're looking at the contrasting character, their eye's going to be moving over here. Before we get to that really key story point, I need to make sure that this intersects back, right? That these two lines come here so this part of the audience isn't going to miss what's happening. And then I showed it to some people who are gamers, and they don't follow that at all. Because they're just immediately, whatever. So I'm like, okay, so now this means production design. So I got to make every direction look really cool if they're not there. And still, hopefully, if I can, in this final secret to the sauce was then, if they're looking around here, it's sound, right? Because if they're not there, can we use and spatialize the audio to bring back there? So it kind of takes all of the skills that we do for planning, and it's multiplied and sort of orchestrated to make that fit.